wake the streets up. Yeah, yeah, okay. Wake the streets up. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the boundary issue, where today we're going to talk about setting boundaries for ourselves, which is very tricky. If you haven't seen last week's video yet, please go back and watch it. It's amazing. It has great tips on how to set boundaries with other people. The link to that video is going to be down in the descriptions, and while you're there, why don't you go ahead and click like and subscribe just for funsies. Before we start, a couple things. One, make sure to follow through and watch all the way to the end, because my number one tip is at the end, and also I have a big announcement for next week. You don't want to miss it. The second thing, which is maybe more important, is please excuse any oinking sounds that you may hear in the background. Little Miss Cardi P, who I know you've all seen on Instagram because you're all following me at jessica.taylor.official. And you know she's adorable. She is in a very feisty mood right now because it's been raining in Sacramento, and apparently she doesn't know that she's a pig and she's supposed to like the mud and stuff outside. So I'm sorry if you hear her oinking. She's just in a little piggy bad mood today. Okay, well, let's get started. So for me, setting boundaries with myself has always been the biggest struggle, and I think it is for a lot of people. You know, I know a lot of people set their alarms, they're ready to go to the gym, or they're ready to wake up and be productive, and then it doesn't happen, or you know, they really want to make dinner at night, but then things just get out of hand and they end up just getting takeout, or they really want time to sit down and work on that book they wanted to write, but then at the end of the day they're just too tired. We've all been there. That's not anything that's new. So I have the secret to making sure that you set boundaries and you stick to your schedule. Number one tip, you actually have to have a schedule. And I know that there's the free thinkers out there, and I'm one of you. I am one of you, and I get it. And schedules are not meant to take away your creativity. They're not meant to, you know, tie you to a fence or handcuff you, whatever sort of BDSM stuff you're into. It's not about that. It's about knowing where you're going, because we all know that you have to do that. So just set a schedule, make a to-do list. It takes literally 5 minutes. And then the big key is time blocking. So what you want to do is set out your day the night before, every single day, how you're going to spend your time, even if that time is completely blocked out the whole day for smoking weed. Just go ahead, block it all out. Make sure it's color coded. I would choose green for that activity personally. So here's an example of how I time block my completely real and wonderfully amazing day. I really hope that this doesn't actually show up backwards. I don't know. I'm new to this, but I think you can see this. So I time blocked my day. It's color coded by, you know, categories, whether I'm working, whether it's creative time, whether it's mom time. It's just time blocked all day, 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., which is when I check out, period, end of story. So that's my day. Seems easy enough. And I guess I could end the video there, but I know what you're thinking is, okay, that's great. I spent 10 minutes on a color-coded chart and it looks really amazing, but stuff are always just, it comes around and it gets in the way, and I can't stick to my schedule. I mean, I do this on my Google Calendar. I have my gym on there and I have my time to read to myself, but then just stuff comes up. Stop letting things come up. And this goes back to last week's video about how you set boundaries for other people. But I have a hint for you. The person that's invading your space and your time, it's not your friends, it's not your kids, it's not your boss, it's you. Because you are the one that are making the choices for your life. And unless you start scheduling them and sticking to them, you're not going to get anything done that you want to, that feeds your soul, that gives you this inspired life. And it's easy to say, well, you know, I've scheduled it, but things really do come up, or I just don't want to do them. Okay, so let's talk about that for a little bit. How do you get things done that's on your schedule, but you really don't want to do, like going to the gym? or maybe working on a project that you've been just procrastinating and putting off for too long. I would ask you, and I really hope you think about this very carefully, whether or not you're scheduling the right things. Because I'm here to tell you, I don't think you are. Because if you're scheduling things that really you want to do, it's not hard to get it done. You know, everybody knows we have to work out. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to do the CrossFit thing. You don't have to be posting selfies. You don't have to be playing the marathon. All you have to do is be active. Go for a walk if that's what you love. You can find something. I'm part of a lightsaber team, nerd alert, and we have members that's what they do for exercise. They come out, they do lightsaber choreography, they get to talk to their friends and have a great time and get physical fitness in the meantime. And people show up consistently because it's something that they absolutely love to do. They're not just doing it because they have some glares from the doctor that they want to stop because they have to lose a few pounds. They just do it because they want to. And then it's the same thing for work. If you're having trouble keeping on track with a project, it's probably not the work that you want to be doing. And obviously, everything we do has aspects that we don't like to do. But those aspects are completely tolerable when they're things that you want to do. It's easy to do those tasks because you know you get to do the fun stuff or the stuff that really fulfills you. So you don't have to you don't have to rearrange your whole life after watching these videos. I just want you to take a minute and really time block your day. And where can you add time for yourself? Where can you add time to nourish your soul? And whatever that means for you. And then get ambitious and time block your entire week. I caution this. I use my Google Calendar to kind of lay out my whole week for things like appointments. Because if you really time block all of your week out in advance, you're going to get frustrated because again, things do come up and you do have to rearrange. But this way, if you're only doing a couple of days at a time, it's much easier to move things around. You don't feel so overwhelmed. You don't get so frustrated. So that's my tip. That's my big tip is time block for things that feed your soul. Don't just time block for things because you have to. And if right now you have to time block for things, then start time blocking some time for you to figure out how to not have to do that thing again, or what are some creative alternatives to do that thing that you don't really want to do, but you need to do it anyways. Okay. So my big announcement for next week is it's going to be our first big interview episode. So it's a little bit longer. It's a lot longer. It's not an hour. Even though we had about 3 hours of filming material, we did cut it down. Excited to say. It's a completely new format. These interview videos are gonna drop once a month. So for the most part, you're gonna get these really short videos of me just, rambling and talking. But then we'll also have these actually really well produced interview videos with information that I know you're gonna love. Next week is amazing. We talk about assigning values. It goes right along with what I've been talking about today, because you start to figure out through a systematic approach how to find out what really matters to you, and whether or not the life you're living is actually supporting those values or if they're in conflict with those values. I can't wait for you to see that episode. Make sure to tune in next week. As always, this episode was written and hosted by me, Jessica Taylor, and it is edited and produced by John Hernandez. Special thanks to Natalie K. Davis of Socially Natalie K. I'm bringing the finger guns back. I missed them last week. I'm so sorry. There you go. You get doubled to make up for it.